As I'm sure many of us know, the market doesn't like uncertainty. And when that happens, a lot of investors and institutions tend to sell off their stocks, especially in smaller disruptive growth companies. Well, that just gives us growth investors a better opportunity to cash in on the fear and confusion. Well, that's what we're going to talk about here on the PlantStock channel today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're not, then welcome back. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet and you want to keep getting more information regarding plant-based companies like the very good food company Beyond Meat, TTCF, to name a few, make sure to subscribe and don't forget that bell button. And if you want to help me out, I would sure appreciate an early thumbs up. Thank you, folks. I truly appreciate your help. Also, I just want to let you know that I'm getting a little more serious about Instagram. I'm starting to use it a lot more. So if you are interested, make sure to join my Instagram account. A link down in the description. And I just want to give a shout out to Fergie, who really helped me out with the Instagram account. And he does help me out every now and then too. So if you want to check him out, also there's a link in the description to him. What we've been witnessing in these last couple of months is a rotation from smaller cap companies to larger cap companies, more value companies, right? Many investors can't handle the stress of the uncertainty in the market, whilst institutions rotate their stocks because they worry about showing losses in their reports. So they rather get smaller gains in larger companies. Now you might ask yourself, why don't they try to be more patient to be able to get larger gains long-term in more disruptive companies? It's quite simple. They would rather have smaller gains instead of risking on a better stock maybe that would give them a lot of money but temporarily would give them some losses. Because if they show losses, right, on a short-term basis, that could lead to them missing out on bonuses or promotions. Small-time thinking, what can I tell you? So in many cases, they would rather lose a little money in established companies than risking getting greater gains in some unknown company. In Peter Lynch's book, One Up on Wall Street, there's a quote there that's very fitting when it comes to this. And that is, you'll never lose your job losing your clients' money on IBM. So basically that means that for many people on Wall Street, they'd rather lose a little money or lose money in an established company than looking bad. So that would be the preferred choice. But folks, let's be clear. In the current market, there's actually more opportunities in small caps and mid caps than in large caps. They're basically done what they need to do at the moment. And this is something that Jeremy from Financial Education has been talking about recently.
You know, if you come to me with an argument right now that says like, big tech stocks looking overvalued or just not good deals, let's not even call it overvalued. Let's just say not good deals. I'm in agreement with you, okay? Big stocks do not represent great deals. I'm 100% in your boat. Like we see eye to eye, you and me. Okay? I agree 100%. Big dog stocks are not great values right now, okay? You might find some okay values, but I can promise you none of those stocks are like, oh my gosh, this is the best deal ever. This is an easy 2x here. No, okay? They're just not good deals. You look at how much valuations have gotten pushed up on large caps, and you see it, right? 21.5. And you look back to any time in recent history, past 15 years, we've never been trading up here on the big dogs, okay? So there's no doubt at all that big dogs are either extremely overvalued or just not good deals, okay? The best case scenario for a lot of the big stocks right now is they're just not good deals, okay? So yeah, I see eye to eye. If people want to say there's not good deals in the stock market, I'm going to say, okay, you're talking about large caps, right? You're talking about the big dog stocks, right? Because if they say that, okay, I understand. If they say there are no good deals in the stock market in general, then I just know they're not educated properly and they don't really know where the deals are at, okay? Small caps, guys. Look at where small caps are at, okay? There's many, many times in the last 15 years where we can see different time periods where we were significantly above wherever we're at now, okay? And keep in mind, a lot of these time periods, inflation was a lot lower, interest rates were a lot lower, and things like that, right? I mean, look at some of these, peaks much, much above where we're at right now, okay? And keep in mind, we should see extremely strong earnings growth in a ton of these small caps, not just this year, but next year as well, okay? So this is something very, very important to keep in mind.
So in other words, in the plant-based sectors, when it comes to plant-based companies, because most of them, as we know, are basically small cap stocks, and Beyond Meat is a small mid-cap stock, right, to some extent. So that means that there's a lot more opportunities coming up now, because we have sure as heck had a hard couple of months now. So maybe it is time for our companies to actually start flying up again, right? And that could probably happen in the next couple of months, the next 3 to 6 months. And when there's fear and confusion, then there's opportunity for the vigilant and calm investor, right? So don't forget what Warren Buffett have said. We don't have to be smarter than the rest. We have to be more disciplined than the rest. So in other words, keeping cool in this moment is probably more important than knowing everything about investing, right? Theory is one thing, practice is another. So if we take a look at the SHIFT, ticker symbol TTCF, how has it been trading in the last 52 weeks range, right? So if we take a look at here from the last 52 week range, basically from $12.61 to up to almost $29, right? And right now it's around $20 or $19. So I would say that's a pretty good opportunity if we take a look at the 52 weeks range, right? And it's all-time high. It's been up at 24, 25 a couple of times. And considering what they're doing, again, a great opportunity. Now, if we take a look at this monthly full article that came out just recently, where they're talking about the chef and the opportunity here, right? We know their Q1 earnings here was really good, right? Up 59% year over year. But the really interesting part was that their branded products were up 105%. And that's the most important in the long run. And let's not forget, we know that when it comes to stores, they were up at 6,000 stores in Q1. And they're reaching for 10,000 by the end of the year. But we know we just recently got the Kroger deal with 1,800 stores, right? That's going to start now in September. So this 10,000 mark here, I think we could probably add, if not 1,000 to 2,000 more stores. I'm very bullish about that situation there. And we know about the new facilities here, right? The 2 new facilities, which will give us the opportunity of getting another $200 million per year in the next 2 to 3 years, right? So that would be added on everything else. So an excellent opportunity there. Don't forget though, there's a huge short here. We know that that's a problem, right? So always be aware that it's going to take time for this company, like Tesla, like Beyond Meat, that we're going to talk about soon also. A huge short, normally 20 to 30%, sometimes more. So even with good news, it's going to be kept down. And it also is that we know that Wall Street are still not aware of this company. Not enough anyways. And then we go into VRYYF, the very good food company. And it is trading down even more now, 5%. Again, the market is really uncertain. Take a look at the 52 range. It's not correct here at all, actually, to be honest, because this is actually looking at, since this was a new listing, right? If we would have gone back there, we would have been talking about cents and up to 9 Canadian dollars, right? So it's been up to $9 in Canadian dollars, and now it's actually down under $3. So this is actually the best opportunity you've had with this stock in the last 8-9 months since October, right? So in many ways, this is actually a great deal. Really high PE's ratio at the moment, but we know the reason for that, because the revenue has to start coming in. And as we know, it should be coming in these couple of months like never before. As we know, they just partnered with a 3PL logistics provider to begin their e-commerce sales in the UK and then moving into Europe, right? So that's going to be a huge deal. They just also started moving in across North America to about 100 new stores, which is excellent news, as we all know. They also moved into another 180 stores in Canada. So they're kind of proving that they're going to reach their overall goal, which is about 3,000 stores now by the end of the year. And that's about a 10x from where they were in January and February, right? So that's amazing gains. Obviously, that's going to have a huge impact on the overall revenue. Again, to get down that PE's ratio, which I believe we will see. So again, folks, I'm not saying that this company and several of the companies I'm talking about, that it actually won't go lower than this. It might. But again, right now, if you compare to the 52-week range, which was $9 in October, you have an excellent opportunity now, in my opinion. But could it go lower? Well, dollar cost average. And then when we take a look at Beyond Meat, the industry leader, also here, we have a much better price than we've had for a couple of months. Was recently up at around $150, but if we took a look at the 52-week range here too, it's been actually traveling around $99 to about $221, which was in January with a PepsiCo deal, right? So if you take a look from that perspective, we have a pretty good price here now coming in. Also here, there's a chance that it could get lower again, but still, I would say this is a good price. And another article from the Monthly Fool here that just recently, I think it came out today or yesterday, when they're talking about Beyond Meat here, they are quite bullish anyhow. Yes, they're talking about that it's been quite a hard time as of late, yet there are some good news. As we know that they've had a tough history the last half year or so, but now, as you know, Beyond Chicken Tenders came out to about 400 restaurants, right? That is really good because, as we know, and they speak about this here in the article, chicken is the better opportunity than meat right now, long term, not only in the US, but on an international scale. And the really interesting thing is that they came out recently news that they're actually going to start selling their products, hopefully now, and the Panda Express. So the Panda Express is an American fast food restaurant chain that serves American Chinese cuisine, and they have about 2,200 stores. Doesn't mean that they're going to be there at all of them directly, right? But that's an opportunity, and we know having their products in 2,000 stores is nothing for Beyond Meat with the branding they have. So I think we could expect that to happen quite soon. So again, the stock could go lower, but at $124 with a company with the 3 deals that we're still waiting for to actually take effect for real when it comes to Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is part of the Yum brands with Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, which is also going to have their products, and then McDonald's and PepsiCo. Guys, we're just waiting for those revenues to roll in. And we also know that now during summertime, people are taking their vaccines, right? I actually got my first vaccine today, so and I'll get my second one in about 6 weeks from now. So when people take their vaccine, the first dose, when it comes to the Pfizer anyways, right? After about 3 weeks, you're protected about 80%. And after those 6 weeks, when you've taken a second dose, and a few weeks after that, you're basically protected about 95, 96%, something like that, which means you're pretty good to go, which means, and people have been taking these for months and months, right, that you're going to go out to the restaurant and start eating food. And that's going to obviously be a positive thing for Beyond Meat. And then we have a company that I don't talk about that much, right, which is Else Nutrition, BABYV or BABYF. And if we take a look at the Canadian version, BABYV, we can see here that if we take a look at the 52-week range, it's been also a bumpy ride, right? From $1.4 up to $5 maximum, right? Which makes this look more interesting now, around $2.5. Now, I would say if we take a look at the PE's ratio, it's still trading very high, right? So, I mean, price to sales is 100. So that's super high. It's even higher than a very good food company. But it is a company that I do believe in long term, right? Let's take a look at their site. They sell plant-based complete nutrition for toddlers, for babies, right? And for teenagers, I believe. And eventually, they're actually going to start selling to adults too. I haven't seen them come out with anything like that yet, but that is in the works. And they seem also to be the kind of people who don't only talk, they actually follow through what they're talking about, right? So that is looking good. And I have this plant powered complete nutrition protein shake for kids. And again, guys, it's all vegan, it's all gluten-free, non-GMO, and a whole foods approach. And there's plenty of parents out there that have children that have different kinds of allergies, right? So I think this could be really attractive to a lot of people. But with this stock, like so many others, this should be a long-term choice, right? But they are doing a lot of things. They are expanding. They are getting into more and more retailers. And they are actually working on that communications with people all around the world. They're actually doing different agreements with influencers. And something interesting just recently is that Tori Spelling, if you remember Donna from Beverly Hills show from the 1990s. I saw that a lot when I was a kid. Loved that show. So remember Donna, Tori Spelling there, right? That she has been starting to become an influencer for the company. And interesting here is that her first video for the Else Organic brand attained an impressive 100,000 views in the first 24 hours. And they are working with other partnerships like Ali Fedovsky, Jade Liz Talbert, The Bachelor. So they're working more and more with this, and we talked about this before when it comes to the wife of Alec Baldwin. She has promoted this company quite a lot too. But again, without these, they are still making a lot of progress here. And just recently, it seems like their CEO, Hamatal Yitzhak, became known as one of the top 100 Innovation CEO Award for 2021 in the World Biz magazine. So that's looking good too, right? So something I think you should look at. It is interesting. Again, I think it's a product that is well needed out there. So I think we could see long-term, thinking 5 to 10 years, this company can do really well. So this is probably early still. Expensive at the moment with the current valuation, and we know valuation matters, folks. But if you're thinking from a long perspective, this could be really cheap actually. And even though this video is way too long than I wanted it to be, I think we should still mention Oatly, right? My Swedish company here. That just so you know, I'm not invested in this company and not in Else Nutrition either. But when we look at the 52-week range doesn't exist. But as we know, when it opened up around $22, $17 for some people, but not for us ordinary retailers. So about 22, and it's actually lower now, right? So if you went in at $22, you are at a loss now. And we know the reason for this. It's the whole situation was overvalued when it started, right? When it opened up, totally overvalued. It was more valued than Beyond Meat that's existed now on the market for a much longer time, much more well known, I think, as a brand in an international scale. So there was a lot of hype, as we know, and I warned a lot of you, and I hope many of you waited, because it was up to around $30, and then it's been going down ever since. And that's something I've been expecting, given that the market is very unstable now as well. But there are some other reasons, as we know. I've talked about that in a video just recently, that there is a short report on them right now, actually accusing them for different reasons when it comes to their environmental claims, their health benefits, and actually specifically their revenue, that they're supposed to be shady. Nothing I actually believe in as of yet. I don't have any proof of that. And actually Oatly came out a couple of days ago denying all those claims. But obviously, if you take a look at the news when it comes to Oatly, it's just law firm after law firm actually coming out here talking about that they're going to investigate this. So obviously this is going to be a huge red flag for a company. And I think that is part of the reason why we're seeing it fly down like crazy at the moment. So I think that's something to keep in mind. And also keep in mind, we talked about this before, this is a short selling report, right? So the people who talked about this, talking about Oatly being kind of shady, well, to me, they might be shady themselves, right? Because they have an obvious agenda that they want this company to fall down. They have call positions, I think, to between $6 to $14. So the lower this actually gets, the more money they'll make. So this benefits them like crazy. So keep that in mind before you start worrying about it. But I must say, from a market perspective, it was up to, I don't know, 18 billion or something, and now closer to 10 billion. It is looking more attractive. But to be honest, I think there's a chance that it might be even more attractive with time, but it's still way more attractive than it has ever been at the moment. And again, if it's a long time perspective, thinking 5 to 10 years, then I think this is an opportunity ever so slowly, very slow. Or if you have, if you have the stomach for it, you could wait a bit longer. But remember, we can't time the market. We don't know what's going to happen. So if you want to invest now, dollar cost average if it keeps going down, right? And like I've said before, all of these companies to some extent are long-term perspectives. For me anyways, most of them, I would say 3 to 5 years, and all in all 5 to 10 years, right? And if you're ready for those kind of numbers, those kind of years, like 3 to 5 years at the very least, I think you will do really well in my opinion. So I'm not a financial advisor, but that's in my opinion. But you have to have that long-term perspective because as of yet, we don't know what will happen in the market. It could get worse. So important to stay frosty here, right? All right, folks, that was it for today. Sorry for the long video, but I still hope you got a lot of value from that. And if you did, make sure to smash that like button to help me out. And if you want to keep getting more information regarding plant-based companies like Oatly, Else Nutrition, the very good food company, TTCF, and Beyond Meat, to name a few or quite a lot, make sure to subscribe and don't forget that bell button. Thank you, folks. I truly appreciate your help. And I hope you haven't forgotten this was not, again, financial advice. These are just my own thoughts and opinions. It's important to do your own due diligence and invest safe. All right, folks, I hope you have a great Monday. Hope to see you soon, and peace out.